Hey, welcome back to Project Me. Today we're going to talk about friendship philosophies. Uh, Very vague concept, I know. Let's get into it. Um, this is a really interesting one for me because I've already recognised I've got a quite a different conception of what friendship looks like compared to a lot of people I know, or at least speak to about. Namely, that is to say, what most people would consider close friends is what I only consider friends. So you can imagine, and part of that is just a reason. Part of that is because for good or ill, I've just got a lot higher standards when it comes to the people I engage with, and that sort of carries on into how many people end up in the different circles of my social life. So there's that on one hand, and thinking about it now, I've also realised that a lot of this stems from elements that have and events that have happened to me growing up, and it sort of shaped how I think about it today. I'm really excited to talk about it because it's something I've always sort of known, but I've never actually voiced it. And how this came about is this week I have been watching Harry Potter with a close friend of mine. Prior to Harry Potter, we're halfway through Harry Potter right now. Prior to Harry Potter, we've watched the first two Lord of the Rings movies. I love Lord of the Rings. So we for some reason we decided to watch them. We watched the first two. We haven't watched the third one yet. The last time we watched the second Lord of the Rings was in February this year. So about a little more than 4 months ago now. So there's been quite a gap between the second Lord of the Rings and, well, when we eventually, if we ever do, get to the third one. Right. Now the reason that's important is because we started watching all the Harry Potters in that time. We're now on the fifth one. And the other night when we were watching the fourth one, I told her that two mutual friends of ours were going to come around and watch Lord of the Rings with me. And in her words, she was, jokingly betrayed. And I didn't quite understand at first. It took a lot of, not a lot, but it took a significant amount of talking to figure out quite why she felt the way she did. And I'll explain her perspective first, and then I'll explain mine. She felt betrayed because, again, betrayed is a very strong word. We were just joking about this, but it stems from real feelings, of course. I've written it down here just so I wouldn't forget. She wanted to watch the movies because they were important to me and because I really enjoyed the movies. And that was why we watched the movies together. For me, I watched the movie. Well, we started watching them maybe for that reason, but for me, it turned into something else. I care for her deeply. She's a very dear friend to me, and sort of for that reason, I care about her enjoying our friendship and the activities we do, and therefore, I don't want to spend the limited time we have together doing things that she doesn't necessarily enjoy. Right? I suspected after watching the first and second one with her, and rightfully so, as she admitted that she didn't particularly enjoy Lord of the Rings. And so I stopped pushing for it after that second movie. And so the months sort of accumulated. She kept bringing it up. I never once mentioned it. I never once pushed for it because I didn't want to watch it with her because she wouldn't enjoy it. So that was my view. I was happy to do other things with her, things that she would enjoy. She felt betrayed by that notion because she wants to watch the movie purely because I want to watch the movie. Right? So very, very sort of subtle difference in them. In a way, we both have the same sort of view as to the friendship. We both want to do what the other person enjoys. But we're coming at it sort of head to head, which has sort of put us into an amusing conflict, so to speak. But I was thinking about it today, And what I realized was I'm putting the value of our friendship based on her enjoyment of the activities we do, whereas she is putting the value of our friendship based purely on me as a person, if that makes sense. So in our friendship relationship, I'm putting the value on the activities that she enjoys doing. She puts the value on me and what I do and what I enjoy. And that sort of hit me quite hard because maybe this is textbook trust issues or some variant of it, but I've never once believed that people would just like me for the way I am, just purely for the person that I am. And so that realization hit me quite hard in the gut. I wasn't quite sure how to react when I was thinking about it. Because, I mean, it's something you always want, right? You never want someone to be around you purely because of what you can do for them. You want people to be around you because of who you are, because they genuinely like you. And I understand it's a complete flaw on my part to think this way. I know why I think this way. It's clearly a defense mechanism. I never believing that someone would value me purely because of who I am instinctively sort of pushes people away and keeps them at arm's length to avoid being hurt in the future, right? So, and I know what events growing up caused that, or at least most of them. So really, really interesting, sort of digging into that today and just having a little bit of a wee think about it, because it's something that definitely does need to change. I think it's a huge element of self-confidence. Knowing that you inherently have value as a human being. I mean, it's so easy to say, but to actually believe it is something else entirely, I think. How does one internalize that belief, right? this might be, that question might be the biggest obstacle anyone will ever have in terms of them and who they need to become, I think. And there's obviously no easy answer. Otherwise, we'd all be the people we want to be, right? Or at least the self-confident people we want to be. I'm no therapist. I'm no psychological professional. I have no idea what needs to be said. I'm just narrating my own life here. But clearly affirmations work for some people. I'm skeptical when it comes to me. Purely because I don't think words work on me. Someone will say exactly what I need to hear, and I think I'd look at them with distrust. I think my first reaction would be, what are you trying to get out of me? Not the ideal reaction. Again, it's a defense mechanism, right? So it's a really, really interesting one. But going back to the friendship bit, it hurt me when I realized that very subtle difference between, value on activities and value as a person. Now, to be fair on myself, I think that the value I put on the activities has the end goal of, caring for her as a person. Because I do just want to be around her simply for who she is, but I just never once acknowledged that other people would do the same for me, right? Which is really what hit me so hard, right? I know the depth of my empathy, my care for others, but I've always sort of refused to believe that other people can hold that same level of care for me, right? And again, I think it's that trust issue sort of thing. It's a tricky one. Not too sure what to do about it. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. Genuinely do not know. But yeah, frankly, I'm at a loss for words. So we're going to end this now, unless I've written anything else I want to briefly share. Yeah, I mean, I just wrote, it's hard to believe that someone wants to hang out and be around me simply for me being me. It's unfathomable in a really horrible sort of way. But I guess that journey for self confidence, that quest for your own value, finding your own value, I think that's just an inherent part of becoming who you are, or at least more of who you are. So maybe it will come with time. Maybe it's a mindset. I'm not sure. No clear answers today. Maybe an epiphany will happen in the future. You'll be the second to know. Alright, guys, we're going to leave it there. Wishing you all a fantastic week ahead of you. Just take some time to yourself. Think, reflect. If you're anything like me, you never give yourself any time at all to be you. So, step back, relax, and have a good week, guys. Cheers. All the best.